A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, June 8th. Our top story: a tense round of talks was today held at the National Union of Public Workers amid an unfolding leadership battle in the island's largest public sector union. Acting General Secretary Ben Walron summoned the meeting, which included former General Secretaries and Presidents, to advise on the way forward on the heels of the petition filed by Natalie Murray, signed by over 130 members, that calls for Union President Akani McDowell to be appointed Secretary General. Walron contends the move is unethical. Bitter verbal exchanges erupted at the meeting, forcing officials to call in police. But at the end, McDowell told journalists today's talks were null and void.
Members have a right to speak. Members have a right to discuss issues that are before them. But let us do it properly. That's all I'm saying. As the president, we need to do it properly. The other thing that I wanted to mention as well is that there was an item on the agenda that spoke to what is to be discussed at the level of General Conference. And although something may not be in the rules, I think all of us have to understand that we need to be able to reason and make common sense out of certain things. Although something may not be in the rules, certainly your common sense would tell you that if a matter is being discussed at conference, then we should not officially discuss it at a lower level and make decisions on something, because the membership has signed a petition, and what that petition has done is triggered a section in the Constitution that means that discussion has to be held at the level of General Conference. So I was also uncomfortable with that. I never really got a chance to discuss it with them. Unfortunately, members were hell-bent on making whatever decisions they wanted to. But today's meeting was not constitutionally due, and any decisions coming out of today's meeting will be null and void.
Despite the public feud, he's adamant the union can handle its business. McDowell suggests the challenges will be resolved as soon as members get to vote on the resolution.
Once we get over this meeting at the level of membership, and as I said before, I'm willing to live with any decision that the membership makes, then I believe you would see a calming of the union, because you wouldn't have anybody fighting, hopefully, in the public about the presidency, and you wouldn't have anybody fighting in the public about the General Secretary's position. There are certain things in the union that I hold sacrosanct. I would like the members to know that we are very much together, and I'm asking them to come out and participate in that decision whenever that meeting is called, because members need to know that the union belongs to you. And whatever is happening inside of the union in these meetings will have an impact on you outside. So come and support and give your vote whenever the conference is called.
The severe impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the Barbados economy has forced government to change the structure of the public-private partnership at the Grantley Adams International Airport, explaining that the country has seen a significant reduction in the number of visitors to the island since last year. Minister of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneurship Carrie Simmons said government now has to relook the details of the lease agreement. He made the disclosure during debate on the Grantley Adams International Airport Amendment Bill 2021 this morning.
Barbados, sir, has to deal with that 95% or more fall off in traffic to the island. So obviously, the model that you're looking at in terms of footfall through the airport, the traffic you're bringing in, that can't work the same way. Again, sir, January to March 2019, we would have seen arrivals in the vicinity of 210,000 passengers between January and March 2019. That, sir, fell off to 159,000 in 2020, and for the 3 months in question in this year, Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 7,400 passengers. Again, a 90-something% decline. It is unbelievable, but the reality is that the structure of the transaction that one is planning has to be fundamentally revisited, because you're modeling it on the basis of, you're telling a man, come and invest here in our airport, spend millions of dollars, help us build up capacity. Your return on investment is that because there's so much traffic coming through, you're going to see the business, and therefore your cut in the process is going to be significant. Guaranteed. Right now, sir, that can't be said to anybody. So therefore, you have to relook the whole thing again.
An outpouring of grief today as hundreds gather to say a final farewell to slain acting Station Sargeant Newton Lewis. Family, friends, and dignitaries, including Governor General Dame Sandra Mason, Prime Minister Mia Mottley, Attorney General Dale Marshall, Chief Justice Patterson Cheltenham, and Commissioner of Police Tyrone Griffith, attended a military funeral held at Mount Pleasant Memorial Gardens in St. Peter. The 46-year-old was gunned down in the line of duty last month as he responded to a burglary in Rosehill, St. Peter. His father, Anthony Lewis, declared he was proud of his son, whom he said had an exemplary character.
He had a good reputation. That was admirable, more than riches. He had respect, and he made me glad. Finally, what I want to say to you that I was not the only person that Newton made glad. I want to say this evening to you, Mr. Commissioner and Mr. Deputy Commissioner, Newton make you glad. I want to say to the Attorney General, he said he died a hero, so that means that he made him glad. And I want to say to all you beautiful women and men in the Barbados Police Force, past and present, Newton make you all glad. Why? Because he had a reputation that was more precious than riches of gold.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Ian Branch, who delivered the appreciation on behalf of the Royal Barbados Police Force, said Lewis, the former chauffeur of the Commissioner of Police, was a consummate colleague.
His Station Sergeant Angus Cox recalled when Lewis was attached to Belplain Police Station. Cannot recall a time when Lewis avoided work. He was always willing to learn. Station Sergeant Oriel Benjamin, the fleet manager of the force, noted, Station Sergeant Lewis was not only a co-worker, but a personal friend. If anyone had co-workers as great as him, no one would ever complain about work again. His enthusiasm, energy, and sense of honor made coming to work a pleasure. I honestly couldn't ask for a better colleague. I feel so blessed to have gotten the limited opportunity to work with him. He was genuine, sincere, and loyal. Simply put, he was an incredible person to work with. Acting Inspector Herbert, who compiled his last appraisal, wrote, very focused, knowledgeable, and proactive in his development. As you all know, Newton was assigned protection officer to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Tyrone Griffith. When asked about his thoughts of Newton, the Commissioner said, he was extremely committed and professional, but most of all caring. I recall one day at work feeling faint and out of it. And when I told Lewis, he became very emotional. He seemed to take on my feelings as if it was him, a truly great officer and a person. I'm going to miss him.
Former Deputy Police Commissioner Bertie Hines, a close friend of Lewis, also described him as outstanding.
A tower of strength, commitment, dedication, honesty, integrity, good humor, eagle-eyed, productive duty-wise, modest, family-oriented, faithful, goal-oriented, guided by the Christian faith. In other words, virtuous.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
On the regional front, the Office of the Children's Advocate has strongly condemned a video that features a child said to be 8 years old glorifying gangsters. Sandy Williams of Television Jamaica has the story.
The TikTok video is 29 seconds long and starts with a man asking a little boy what would he like to become when he grows up. The child, in his response, said he wants to be a gunman, pointing to an example of gunmen killing police officers. It's unclear where the video was recorded, but the Office of the Children's Advocate has taken an interest.
Initially, when I saw it, I felt some anger at the outset because it seemed to be an adult who was in fact recording this information. And I didn't hear anywhere on the video whereby that adult stopped the child and had a responsible, age-appropriate discussion with him to explain just how wrong his aspirations were.
Counseling psychologist Dr. Patrice Charles has also reacted to the video, describing it as disturbing.
Obviously, this 8-year-old child has glorified and is admiring gunmen. And, in the video, he says, don't you see that there's a gunman that's killing police? And for him, for others, that's supposed to be a horrific act.
On the international scene, 2 people have been arrested after French President Emmanuel Macron was slapped in the face by a bystander during a visit to southern France today.
As you can imagine, an incident like this, the French president being struck in the face while shaking hands with a member of the public, it's been widely condemned across France's political spectrum. One of the first people who responded was France's Prime Minister Jean Castex, speaking in the National Assembly, and he echoed those words on Twitter. Jean Castex saying that in a democracy there is of course debate, dialogue, a confrontation of ideas, but he says a democracy can never include violence, verbal aggression, or indeed physical aggression. Now this incident comes at a time when there is some concern in France about increased violence and attacks on elected officials. President Emmanuel Macron was visiting a hospitality school in Dreux, around 90 kilometers south of Lyon. And this is not uncommon. We usually see French presidents, other elected officials making public engagements in the lead up to campaigns and elections. And plenty more of those will be to come for Emmanuel Macron before those elections in April next year. But some other politicians who've reacted and condemned this act of violence against him include some of Macron's presidential opponents, including the likes of Marine Le Pen, the leader of the far-right National Rally, who on Twitter echoed the words of Prime Minister Jean Castex.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.